How can you optimize your workouts to naturally boost your testosterone? I'm Dr. Emily Carter, urologist and pelvic surgeon, and today we're diving into everything we know about how exercise affects testosterone levels. We'll break down how your body actually makes testosterone, how intense your workouts need to be, which types of exercise truly make a difference, and how rest periods can either help or hurt your results. And if you're over 50, I'll show you why a few smart adjustments to your routine can keep your hormones and your energy strong for decades. So let's start with the basics, how your body makes testosterone. About 95% of a man's testosterone is made in the testicles by specialized cells called Leydig cells. But the signal doesn't start there, it starts in your brain. The hypothalamus releases a hormone called GnRH, gonadotropin-releasing hormone, which tells the pituitary gland to release LH, or luteinizing hormone. LH then travels through your bloodstream to the testicles, where it tells those Leydig cells, hey, it's time to make testosterone. Once released, testosterone flows to tissues all over your body, especially your muscles. Inside the muscle cell, it binds to something called an androgen receptor. When that happens, a chain reaction begins. Genes switch on, protein synthesis increases, and your body starts building strength and vitality. In other words, testosterone is your body's internal message to stay alive, stay strong, and stay capable. But here's the interesting part. That whole system is sensitive to movement. The more you challenge your body, the more your brain signals those Leydig cells to work. And the stronger your muscles become, the better your body uses the testosterone it already has. So yes, exercise doesn't just make you fitter, it actually teaches your body to produce and respond to testosterone more efficiently. But not every type of workout does this the same way. In fact, some routines can lower testosterone if they push the wrong limits. In the next part, we'll talk about exactly which workouts give you that natural boost and which ones might be holding you back. So how exactly does exercise lead to higher testosterone? Every time you move, whether you lift, push, or sprint, your body releases a mix of hormones. Some are catabolic, they break things down. Others are anabolic, they build things back up. Testosterone belongs to that second group. It's one of your body's main builders. When you exercise, especially when you challenge your muscles, your brain releases a signal that raises both testosterone and growth hormone. This creates the perfect environment for repair and growth, not just for your muscles, but for your energy, focus, and even your mood. What's even more fascinating is what happens inside your muscle cells. As testosterone enters, it binds to the androgen receptor. Think of it like a key fitting into a lock. Once that lock opens, it tells your genes to start making new proteins, the building blocks of strength and recovery. Scientists have found that exercise doesn't just raise testosterone levels, it also makes your androgen receptors more active and keeps them around longer. That means your body becomes more sensitive to the testosterone you already have. So now that you know how exercise triggers testosterone, the next question is, what kind of exercise gives you the biggest boost? When researchers looked at hundreds of studies, one answer stood out: resistance training. That means weight training, body weight training, or anything that challenges your muscles against resistance. Why resistance training? Because it uses large muscle groups like your legs, your back, your chest, and that's where the biggest hormonal response comes from. Picture this. When you do a bicep curl, you're using maybe 5% of your total muscle mass. But when you do a squat or a deadlift, you're engaging over half of your body at once. That kind of effort sends a clear message to your brain. We need more testosterone. In fact, studies show that just one heavy resistance workout can temporarily raise testosterone levels for several hours, sometimes even up to 2 days afterward. Now let's talk numbers because intensity matters. Scientists describe effort in terms of something called repetition maximum. Basically, the heaviest weight you can lift for a specific number of reps. So when a study says 6 RM, it means the most weight you can lift 6 times before you have to stop. Now that we know resistance training is the best way to boost testosterone, the next question is, how much should you do? And how hard? In exercise science, we often talk about 3 things: intensity, volume, and rest. Intensity is how heavy or difficult the exercise feels. Volume is the total amount of work, your sets, repetitions, and load combined. And rest is the pause your body gets to recover between efforts. Out of the 3, volume seems to matter most when it comes to testosterone. That means you can adjust the sets or reps as long as you keep the total work challenging enough. For example, 5 sets of 10 push-ups, done slowly and with focus, can deliver a stronger hormonal response than 1 quick set of 20. It's not about showing off. It's about sending the right signal to your body. Grow, repair, strengthen. You see, your body releases more testosterone when you engage larger muscle groups, like your legs, glutes, and back, compared to smaller ones like your arms or shoulders. That's why doing squats, deadlifts, or even modified versions like wall sits or chair squats can give you a bigger hormonal payoff than bicep curls or light shoulder raises. The reason is simple. The bigger the effort, the stronger the signal your brain sends to your testicles to make testosterone. Now let's talk about how you train those muscles, because that matters too. When scientists compared free weights and machines, they found that free weights, things like dumbbells, barbells, or even your own body weight, caused a greater rise in plasma testosterone levels. Why? Because free weights don't just target one muscle. They force your body to stabilize, using your core, your legs, your posture. It's a coordinated effort, and that extra coordination equals a stronger hormonal response. Machines, on the other hand, isolate your movement. They're safer for beginners, but they don't challenge the smaller stabilizing muscles as much, so the testosterone boost tends to be lower. So what actually happens after you finish your workout? How long does that testosterone boost really last? And can it change your baseline levels over time? Right after resistance training, your testosterone rises sharply. It's your body's way of saying, let's repair what we just broke down. This hormonal surge usually peaks within 30 minutes after your workout and can last anywhere from a few hours to as long as 2 days, depending on how intense your session was and how well you recover. That's why people often describe feeling sharper, stronger, or even more confident after a good workout. You're literally experiencing the chemical effect of testosterone in action. But what about your resting or baseline testosterone, the level your body keeps day to day? For most healthy men, a single workout won't permanently raise that baseline. Your body will return to its normal range after a while. Now let's talk about what might make it harder for your body to raise testosterone, and more importantly, what you can do about it. There are 2 main factors that slow testosterone response: obesity and age. Let's start with obesity. When you carry excess body fat, especially around the abdomen, your blood vessels don't work as efficiently. They become less responsive, and that limits blood flow to the testicles, where testosterone is produced. Fat tissue also releases inflammatory molecules and an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. So the more fat you have, the more testosterone you lose to that conversion process. Now the second factor, age. Testosterone production naturally peaks around age 30 to 40 and then gradually declines, about 1 to 3% per year. That happens because the Leydig cells in your testicles, which produce testosterone, become less responsive to the brain's signal over time. But here's the encouraging part. That decline isn't absolute. Older men still produce testosterone in response to exercise. The rise might be smaller and slower than in younger men, but it still happens. So let's wrap this up. If you take one thing from today's video, let it be this. You don't need extreme workouts or expensive supplements to boost testosterone. So as soon as this video ends, don't just sit there, get up and move. Try a few bodyweight squats, do some wall push-ups. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is that you start. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll dive into the foods and habits that keep your testosterone and your vitality thriving for years to come. Take care of yourself because you are worth it.